Great moments are born from great opportunity.
If you want to be loved as real champions, worthy champions, you're going to have to work and improve and change.
The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Hell yeah.
They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
Being perfect is about being able to look your friends in the eye and know that you didn't let them down because you told them the truth. And that truth is that you did everything that you could. There wasn't one more thing that you could have done. Can you live in that moment?
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
This is your time.
The only ones who are going to tell me when I'm through doing my thing is you people here.
Hi, once again, everybody. I'm Ed Berliner, and welcome into another edition of Trending in 30. Real news sources, and real honest commentary. Let's get right to it, because finally there's some good news when it comes down to the COVID-19 vaccine. And remember, you can read and hear all about this and see more of this on Trending in 30 by being here on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter for our live shows. Also, don't forget, when everything is said and done, you can listen to every single show on all the major podcast platforms. And don't forget as well, you can go to welcometothearena.com on the YouTube channel to view all of the episodes. I mentioned COVID-19. We have been waiting for good news for a long time, and finally, some excellent news today, as the Moderna company announces that they have a vaccine that is not quite 100% effective. Then again, nothing really is. But look at what they have done. They now have created, they claim, a vaccine that is nearly perfect, at least what we need in America today. The report this morning from NBC and The Today Show.
This morning, another potential breakthrough in the battle against COVID. A vaccine developed by Moderna showing a 94.5% efficacy rate in a trial with 30,000 participants. The company's president telling us the first doses could be rolled out as soon as December if the FDA authorizes it for emergency use.
What does this mean for Americans at home?
It means some hope that we are going to beat this thing, and we're going to beat it sooner rather than later.
Moderna says the independent committee analyzing its data did not report any significant safety concerns, clearing a major hurdle. The nation's top infectious disease doctor says he hopes the promise of vaccines motivates Americans to fully embrace public health measures.
People are worn out about this, but we've got to hang in there a bit longer.
COVID cases are still skyrocketing across the U.S. 1 million new infections added in the last week alone.
We are in a very dangerous period, the most dangerous public health period since 1918.
State and local health officials are responding with new restrictions. Washington State now banning indoor service at bars and restaurants and closing gyms and similar businesses for 4 weeks. Colorado hitting a record number of single-day cases and hospitalizations as its governor warns against holiday gatherings.
That's a very important caution for people. Not to play Russian roulette over Thanksgiving. You wouldn't do it with a gun, and you shouldn't do it with a virus.
Chicago's mayor issuing a 30-day stay-at-home advisory. Residents are only to go out for essential needs. While in Minnesota, Sunday's obituary section of the Star Tribune was 10.5 pages, a grim symbol of a pandemic season growing darker by the day.
One big difference between the Moderna vaccine and one developed by Pfizer that also reported very promising results in early trials. Moderna says its vaccine doesn't need to be kept at extremely low temperatures to remain stable. That could help with shipping and distribution.
There will be a vaccine sooner or later to help not cure COVID-19, but at least bring it down to a manageable level here in the United States and around the world. The biggest issue right now, though, is people deciding that they are going to take the vaccine, because people still have to accept the fact that there is something out there that can be put into their veins that will help destroy, or at the very least, again, bring down the level of COVID-19. There's no such thing as a cure, but at least we have to have those people who understand that it is here and it's being worked on. And it's not as if it's come at a certain time or it was held back at any different era. It's a matter of fact that it takes time to build these vaccines. Will people take it? That's going to become the next issue. I've been involved over the years in a lot of anti-vaxxing stories, and people who say there's no way they'll put any vaccine in their bloodstream no matter what it is and no matter how it helps, because they're afraid it's going to hurt. Look, sooner or later, we're going to have to understand as a nation that science has to rule, and science has to be what we live by, because vaccines have cured diseases. They have stopped diseases around the world. And while not everybody will take the vaccine in its first form, sooner or later, everybody will. The question someone asked me is, would I be the first one to take it? Would I line up? I'd probably sit and wait, or at least I'd have to consider it. But I know that sooner or later, I'm going to have to undergo a vaccine just like everybody will have to, because otherwise, we're going to be stuck in this merry-go-round forever. Because did you listen to the governor from Colorado? He said we're going to have to stop playing Russian roulette. Sooner or later, we have to stop flipping the chambers, and we have to make a decision, and a hard one based on science. Unfortunately, when it comes to Russian roulette, there are still those who are willing to play Russian roulette with your lives, because there are those who, quite frankly, don't make it very easy to understand what's happening with regard to COVID-19 and any treatment, especially when it comes from a pseudo-doctor, the likes of a politician, running around spitting wild notions and actual, again, misinformation and disinformation when it comes to COVID-19 and the treatment itself. The politician is Rand Paul. The report comes from CNN, and the voice you will hear is one of their medical experts, Dr. Jonathan Reiner.
So many Americans are in denial or just don't want to accept the truth or buying the lies that they're hearing from their leaders. Republican Senator Rand Paul, who you may remember had coronavirus, offered this statement.
We have 11 million people in our country who have already had COVID. We should tell them to celebrate. We should tell them to throw away their masks, go to restaurants, live again, because these people are now immune. But Dr. Fauci doesn't want to admit to any of that. Dr. Fauci's like, oh, woe is me.
Doctor, what is he not getting?
He's not getting everything. I'll remind everybody that Rand Paul is the same medical genius who, while waiting for his COVID results to return, decided it was a good idea to go for a swim in the Senate pool. I put no credence in anything he says about anything having to do with this virus. Just ask the long haulers who have survived COVID but are still suffering. Ask them if they should go out and celebrate. That's really, really very, very disturbing.
Rand Paul is also the medical genius who's an ophthalmologist. He's an eye doctor. He has nothing to do with epidemiology or any sort of vaccines or any sort of infectious diseases. And he's the guy who's out here spitting information that people are actually believing to this point. And by the way, let's also point out that Rand Paul is the guy who tried to start an ophthalmologic association of his own with his own friends and doctors. Turns out that no state association and no board would ever give it credence and wouldn't license it, and it eventually went away. He's not a doctor. He's a doctor of an ophthalmologist is what he is. That's what he is. He has nothing to do with this. And he is out here spitting lies. Let's get away from even using the word disinformation or misinformation. There is absolutely no evidence whatsoever that once anybody has COVID-19, they are immune to it. There is the possibility of it, is exactly what the doctors say and exactly what all the researchers say. As a matter of fact, in China, they're coming up with people who are getting the disease, the virus, again after they have been supposedly cured and supposedly are immune. We don't know the reality of it right now. So to have somebody out here spitting this misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, if you will, let's go ahead and call it exactly what it is, it's lies. And people are actually falling for it because they believe this guy knows what he's talking about. He doesn't. It's time again to listen to the science, to listen to the people who actually know what they're talking about, and stop listening to Rand Paul because he doesn't give a damn whether or not you live or die. All he cares about is the fact that he could get reelected and he could continue to live off the public dole. let's all try to live a little bit longer here by listening to the science. The science also leads us somewhere else today on Trending in 30 when it comes to medical professionals. This is the real crisis in America right now, because as COVID-19 runs rampant across America, we're running out of doctors, we're running out of nurses, we're running out of medical assistants. As a matter of fact, a lot of doctors are right now quitting their jobs, and they're walking away from hospitals, and they're walking away from very good paying positions because they're burned out on what's happening. Nurses are also burned out. They're working 24-hour shifts. They have no time off. They have to bear with the physical and the emotional scars that's left behind when they have to say goodbye to people, when they have to hold the hands of people who are dying. And this is because people still don't seem to care much about wearing masks and doing the right thing. They're burning them out. And what's happening to our medical professionals right now is indeed a crime. This from KRDO Television in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
At a time when doctors and nurses are key to helping people survive the virus, we have learned that many of them are also getting sick or showing symptoms, creating staffing shortages at some Colorado hospitals. KRDO News Channel 13's Chase Golightly spoke to the Colorado Hospital Association today about that shortage and joins us outside UC Health Memorial Central tonight with a closer look. Chase?
Bart, nearly a quarter of Colorado hospitals are anticipating they'll be short-staffed within the next week. Now, here at UC Health, officials tell me they have not reached that point yet, but are prepared if that does happen. ICU beds have been at the center of attention for Colorado hospitals, but having so many ICU beds won't matter if there aren't enough nurses or doctors to care for those who are in them.
Right now, our top priority and concern is our staff.
Kara Welch with the Colorado Hospital Association says care centers across the state are starting to see staffing shortages.
We are unfortunately seeing more of them getting sick right now or needing to quarantine. And that's really a result of this increased community spread that we're seeing all around the state.
Welch saying this isn't happening when nurses or doctors are at the hospital, but when they are off the clock, going to grocery stores or picking up their kids from school.
They're out amongst their community. And so we are seeing that level of community spread really start to impact our staffing levels in our hospitals.
Unlike other professions going through the same thing, hospitals can't call in nurses or doctors to fill in because the problem is happening all over the state.
Our nurses and providers in our hospitals are really essential where they are and aren't probably moving around as much as they may have before.
But UC Health in Colorado Springs has a plan. If needed, they would redeploy nursing staff from outpatient clinics or other areas to care for hospitalized patients, something Welch says will be implemented everywhere.
Giving them some of the skills that they might need to work in the ICU or in the medical surgical units.
Welch and UC Health officials both say the best thing Coloradans can do to help out these workers is to listen to the public health department. Wear your mask, social distance, and do not go to work if you're feeling sick. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, Chase Golightly, KRDO News Channel 13.
The time has come to issue a plea, to beg, not just to ask, but to get on our hands and knees and plead with people in America to understand. It doesn't take much. The wearing of a mask is not a big deal. Not gathering in big groups is not a big deal. Sure, we're all burned out by it. We all can't stand it. We're all pretty much tired at this point of having to be in our homes and not be able to go to restaurants or movie theaters. But we've got to understand that it's not just about us. There are medical professionals out there, the doctors, the nurses, the assistants, the workers, people who are desperately trying to do nothing more than to save lives. And the more we overload the hospitals, the less we do to stop the spread of COVID-19, the higher the rates rise, the more people that are infected, the more people that have to go to hospital, the more people that are laying in beds and dying. And the nurses have to hold their hands as they die. We are placing an incredible emotional and physical toll on the medical workers of America. Why do they do it? They do it because they care. And I know this because I have medical professionals in my family. I see the empathy. I see the caring nature. I hear, I see, I know the tears that sometimes have to fall from their faces as they watch and learn about people who die, the funerals they have to attend via Zoom, and the knowing that the patient that walked in the door on Tuesday but didn't walk in the door on Thursday will never walk in again. It's up to us. We are the ones who can save the lives of these medical professionals. It's not as if I'm asking for much or they're asking for much at all. What they're asking for is a simple understanding. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In this case, if you don't do the job simply by trying to keep yourself healthy, the reaction is you could be killing others, and you could be destroying the lives and careers of those who truly want to be a part of saving America. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for somebody else. Let's go ahead and turn to politics now, our one shot in politics on the day. We're in a phase right now where we are looking at the repairing of the rift that is in America. It has existed for years, yet right now the gulf is bigger than it ever has been before. Right versus left, constantly. Democrat versus Republican. There's hate on both sides. There's anger on both sides. And what happens? What pushes it all along? It's not just what happens when you see protests that are being held. It's the little things. For instance, the teacher in New Orleans who decides to take to social media and let everybody know exactly how he feels about Donald Trump. This from WWL-TV in New Orleans.
Ursuline Academy has removed a teacher from its campus while it investigates a social media video by a teacher criticizing supporters of President Trump. The school says it became aware of the video after the election. Todd Trung spoke with the teacher who says the video doesn't tell the whole story.
In this Instagram video, Raymond Price spoke bluntly about the Make America Great Again, or MAGA movement.
If you've ever been to a MAGA rally, I hope there was some asbestos lingering around those facilities where that rally took place, and that you get mesothelioma, lungs are fried in the future.
The video was posted on Saturday, when the presidential election was called for Joe Biden. Ursuline Academy sent out this notice to parents on Monday, saying one of its teachers made, quote, offensive remarks on the presidential election. Here's another portion of the video.
And if you've ever uttered the words, all lives matter, I hope that your vocal cords fry before you turn 40. I mean this with every ounce of disrespect that I can muster up in my body. All of you. Everybody else, have a great day.
I reached out to Ursuline Academy, and the school would neither confirm nor deny that it was in fact Raymond Price in the video. In a separate email to parents, the school said that the teacher in question will not be on campus as it investigates the matter.
On the school's website, Raymond Price is listed as a high school French teacher. One part of the video is in French. Late this afternoon, I spoke with Price, who says his video was responding to bigoted remarks he received on social media.
I was outraged at it. And I feel like I'm entitled to be outraged because people have not taken into consideration the tense racial climate that we're living in. And social media probably wasn't the best place to put it, but again, it's private.
Price says his video was meant to be shared with only his friends. He claims his privacy was violated and is unsure how someone got a hold of the video.
A few people have a personal vendetta out against me for a few years. They went digging for something, and unfortunately, they got it. But as far as regrets, I regret how it happened. I don't regret what I said.
He may not regret his words, but they're now under review by the school that hired him last year. Todd Trung, Eyewitness News.
Tonight, officials confirmed that that teacher in question will not return to campus. In a statement to Eyewitness News, Ursuline said it would not offer any public comment on the video. In its email to parents, the school said in part, quote, as educators of Ursuline Academy, we are expected to model the respect we owe one another in a democracy, no matter one's political views.
The teacher in New Orleans caught making Instagram comments about Donald Trump, violent ones, if you will, hateful ones towards the people who follow Donald Trump. And all he says is, well, somebody else must have hacked it. Somebody else must have gotten to it. I thought what I said was private. Are you listening to yourself? Nothing's private on the internet, my man. What's happening here? That's part of the issue here. And not only that, when he says that he is responding to something that someone has sent him, just don't respond. The rift has to be repaired sooner or later. Matter of fact, it's got to be repaired now. It's getting greater every day. But what you have to do is, and what we all have to do is just back up a little bit. Stop with the nonsense. Why is it that everybody feels that simply because they have a phone at their ready, or a computer that I've got to go ahead and post something. I've got to go ahead and be indignant. No, you don't. I get it. We fight. We have to go on. We have to put America together. But this is part of the problem, and this is not part of the solution behind it. Because all this guy is doing is he is fomenting more violence, more hate, more fear, more anger. Stop. It's unnecessary. Don't be stupid about all this, first of all, by throwing it up on social media. If you've got to, say it to your friends. I get it. We're unhappy. Everybody's pissed off at one time or another here at what somebody is saying. But frankly, when it comes down to a lot of this on social media, I walk away from it. I choose my battles in other ways. And blaming social media and blaming somebody else and blaming the fact that somebody might have gotten a hold of it and blaming the fact that I thought it was private. What? All of a sudden next, what's going to happen? The teacher's the guy who's going to be saying, the dog ate my homework. He ate everybody's homework. So I give everybody A's. That's not the way things work in this country. Stop being a part of the problem. Stop being a part of the issue that drives people to hate each other and start being a part of the solution. And the solution is, let's back off for a minute and stop insulting everybody just because we can. Maybe then we can heal a little bit. Let's heal by going to sports, if you will, and the Masters from the weekend. Undoubtedly, if you're a golf fan, you watched it. Sports fans watch it just because it's great to be able to get out there, even if you're on your television set, and watch the lush greens and just hear the birds and just enjoy something different for a change, right? Of course, no fans there, but the Masters is a great event to watch. What came out of it this weekend, though, is something that, as somebody who has spent most of his life covering sports, I had to roll in the aisles about. Because the fourth round of the Masters wasn't over more than an hour or two, and here are two guys arguing whether or not Dustin Johnson, the winner of the Masters, could be one of the greatest golfers of all time. This is Matty and the Caddy from ESPN. Honestly, I don't know which one is Matty and which one is the Caddy. But it really is for sheer and stark entertainment value.
Athletically is the most gifted player on tour. And it's not, I don't think it's close when it comes to just athletic ability.
Pure athleticism.
From height,
yes.
From pliability,
right.
From distance, top to bottom, he is, to me, the most athletic player in the world, and it's not even close.
And this dude has 14 straight seasons with a win on the PGA Tour. 14 straight seasons with the PGA Tour victory.
And with today's win, he tied Gary Player for 26th all time with 24 wins.
This is one of the greatest golfers of all time. Already.
Let me ask you something.
All right, ask me that question.
Is he going to be?
Listen, if he never tees it up ever again, let's say DJ just calls everybody, hey y'all, I'm good, I'm out, hey. I'm gonna go fishing with my brother.
Win a green jacket.
Yeah, I'm good. Like if DJ shut it down, you telling me he's not in the Hall of Fame? He's in the Hall of Fame. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
I don't want to have that conversation though.
I know you don't want to have it right now because he's got such, hopefully, knock on wood, he's got such a long career left.
But I hate crowning Hall of Famers when they're still in the prime of their career.
But he is.
So this did it. Did this do it?
Yes. 2 majors now. 2 majors.
Is 2 the criteria?
No, I just think this put him over the top. This put him over the
disagree.
top as far as
look
at the amount of golf that he's won and now having.
He's only won 24 times.
He's won every year for 14 seasons in a row.
But look, I know Gary, the great Gary Player, he tied him.
26.
Gary's got 3 green jackets.
So?
How many does he have?
He's got 1 green jacket and he's got a U.S. Open. Hey, Freddie Couples is in the World Golf Hall of Fame. How many majors he got?
How
1. He got 1.
Masters.
Colin Montgomery going in the Hall of Fame. How many? Thank you.
0.
Hold up. You can hear him. To hear them crickets. I'm telling you, like Dustin Johnson right now, if he stopped playing golf today, he not only is in the Hall of Fame, but there's an argument saying that he's one of the greatest golfers that we've seen. For what he's done.
I'm with you in the Hall of Fame, but calling him an all-time great.
Dude, for what he's done over the amount of time that he's done it in since he became a pro golfer, you tell me who's better. Who's better?
DJ?
Jack and Tiger. Jack and Tiger guarantee you are
Arnold, the King.
Okay, maybe Arnie was okay. So that's the
Phil.
Three
Phil
of the greatest.
Mickelson's better.
Phil did not win every single year.
Phil, I don't care about the every year thing. I don't. You're putting way too much emphasis on that. I would even.
It matters nowadays.
The most entertaining, nonsensical argument, sports-wise, I've heard in a long time. It's one of those that makes you go, what? Notice how, and again, I don't know if it's Matty or the caddy, Arnold Palmer, he had to pause on whether Arnold Palmer is one of the greatest of all time. I mean, look, Dustin Johnson is a nice guy, but he never stole a freight train, at least not in golf. He's got 2 major titles at 36 years of age. And sure, he's won a tournament 14 years in a row. No big deal. How many tournaments are there every single year? And I mean, not only that, but you can argue that the competitive level of golf is either not as good as it used to be before, maybe 10 years ago, might be better than it was. Ask the golfers. They'll be able to tell you, but some people will tell you that the level of golf is not what it was when those greats played the game. Here's something else. Sam Snead had 82 victories and 7 majors. And this guy, who actually needs to hit the salad bar every now and then maybe, seems to think that counts as being one of the greatest of all time, of winning a Masters tournament, winning 2 majors at this stage of his career. I'm going to give Johnson credit because here's a guy who had COVID-19 earlier this year and came out of a sick bed in order to do what he did. And I've got the numbers sitting here. Since getting out of the lockdown, he's won 3 times and 3 runner-ups. That's not bad at all. But this argument about the greatest of all time is, honest to goodness, one of the great arguments that sports people have all the time. Here's what happens. When you've got nothing else to talk about and you're completely running wild and you're going, what do I do to get people interested or create controversy? You pull up something that is incredibly stupid to even think out loud. Or something that's been discussed over and over again. It's like when people constantly bring up the argument about whether or not Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. That's when you've got nothing to talk about at that point, so you throw that out there. You know that thousands of people are going to get involved. Dustin Johnson did an amazing job. He destroyed Augusta this weekend, but one of the greatest of all time? Seriously, somebody needs to get back on the medication heavy. Somebody needs to get back out on the course somewhere and maybe go out and smell something more than just the grass on the turf, maybe the grass that's somewhere else growing somewhere out in the rough, because somebody needs a little help here. It's a ridiculous argument. It's a funny argument. And of course, guess what? We talked about it here on Trending in 30, which means they got exactly what they wanted. Now, in Trending in 30, we try to get everything in 30 minutes, but we're going to go a little bit over here today. And for those who are listening on the podcast, I'm going to suggest that you go to welcometothearena.com. Go to our YouTube channel where all of these shows are, because this is video that you're going to want to see. It doesn't do it justice if you're just listening to it on the podcast, because we had to end for it. We had to end with this today because if you're looking at the day after the Masters, there really is nothing better. And it doesn't hurt that, as we point out, it's trending. So let's get to it. Some people say that golf is boring, and it needs some excitement. It needs something new. The game itself has got to be jacked up and join the 21st century. Well, the people at Xbox have exactly the way to do it. It's called, I never thought I'd put these words together in my life, but here you go. It's called UFC Golf.
Back at it for the final showdown in my favorite, Doris. We have UFC Golf. It's Ty, it's Kobe.
I don't know how often these two square off in the final, but you love Kobe's speed in this?
Obviously at a weight disadvantage. How do you overcome it?
Well, I wouldn't say obviously at a weight disadvantage. I had a pretty big breakfast. Yeah, you can't go in with fear, which I would say I am a little bit.
But the competitive spirit of Ty, I'm really curious about.
How do you avoid being overconfident?
Well, I think you just got to go into it with a plan.
Somebody's going to Happy Gilmore off the tee box.
Okay.
Minute rounds.
What if they get sparring?
I'm going to give them a good, 3 Mississippi count. Okay. And if we still can't get off each other, then I will stand them up, I'll separate them, and we'll go back at it.
Listen, you be careful, because I have an extra one of these. I might have to come.
Easy, Doris.
All right.
Easy.
Just like Doris said, I was going to make a surprise appearance in round 3. I am now the ring girl turned ring guy.
It's showtime. The Hybrid Sports Showdown finale gets underway in 3, 2, 1. And they're off. Ooh, a good block early on. Ty avoids some pressure, and now they're off. Oh, Kobe lost his shoe. He blew a tire. He blew an early tire. Ty ripping and ripping. Oh, goodness, my conditioning is being... Oh, and a wipeout.
Ty loses a shoe.
Ty trucking. Now changes direction. There's a GoPro down, and now there's a Kobe down. A little kicking, a little shoving. Now off to the races. Ty. 5 seconds left in the round. 3, 2, 1.
Felt good about that second shot. Piped it. I'm exhausted. Round 2.
He's got a good, clean look at this if he can get a step on Kobe.
We'll see how round 2 goes in 3, 2, 1. Ty off, 7-iron, and he chips it along. Kobe trying to fend him off, a block out, a wrap-up job, good takedown.
Kobe again with the aggressive tackling displayed earlier.
Undersized, but don't undervalue that man. Ty kicking and screaming. He's got him in an armbar. Ty trying to advance the ball. He's a yard out and can't make contact. Can they get up? 3 misses. Oh, and a pin down. Here he goes. He's got separation. Ty, a good chip up to the green. He's on the green. I need oxygen. He's got about a 5-yard advantage. Kobe making a late push. Now they're on the green.
5 seconds.
Now they're on the green. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Ty did get it off. Oh! A good roll. Ty absolutely winded in a search for oxygen. Kobe the same way, all forced fetal position. He lost a shoe here.
I got you.
Here, hey, we're good. We're done.
Little smelling salts? Oh, it's too strong.
We forgot the water, but here's what it would taste like.
That'd be like the most important part.
Yeah.
We don't got any water.
Corey gives us the card. It's round 3. Ty with a chance to post a really good time here. Ty. Oh, and he shorted it. He got a little quick with it. They're battling. Ty taking shots on the green. Kobe.
Oh, the putt, that is beautifully done. Boy, the backhand twice has worked beautifully.
A strong effort by Kobe, a last-ditch effort to keep.
Oh, he's just got to tap it in.
Knocks him down and puts it in with the left hand.
Beautiful finish. What a play.
Ty officially in with a time of 24.66 into round 3, and now Kobe's got to regain some energy.
He's got 150 or perhaps maybe 400 yards to gather your breath.
You think I might borrow your golf cart? Maybe just hitch a ride on the way back?
Come right with
Oh my
me.
gosh, thank you.
Hitchhiking. Can I get one? The second participant in the finals, Kobe. Time to beat, 24.66 into round 3. Kobe goes in 3, 2, 1. And they're off. Kobe hits a ground ball. Oh, and takes a shot right to the back. Gets up on his feet, a little stutter step move, and now he's off to the races with a slight jog. Thinking about his, oh! A lethal shot. Half shoulder blade, half helmet.
He is just pummeling him physically.
Stand him up, stand him up, stand him up. Here we go. Kobe back up, takes a shot under the chin, and now he's reassessing, did I really want to make this final? He's trapped, he can't get to his ball. It's right here on the left side of the fairway. He tries to go low and he gets pinned. A rib shot, another one. Tried the leg wrapper, doesn't work. Oh, and an additional shot. Let's break this up. Kobe gets trampled, playing his role as Mufasa as he gets stampeded.
The golfer's only hope here is a clean strike of the ball with enough time to get separation with his speed. Otherwise, I think Kobe is toast.
A little stumble there from Ty. Oh, and a big shot from behind. Kobe keeps his balance, and now with some regained stamina, he'll make a run at it. Round 2 carries on. And the fetal position maneuver doesn't work again. Go figure. And that's the end of round 2. Oh, and Ty letting him know about it. The physicality is legit.
Stamina is low with that man.
Kobe's gonna have to muster up some kind of comeback as he's 24.66 seconds away from elimination and watching his finale bro garner another title.
Holding one right here for the win.
Gone but not forgotten. Thank you for your work, you humble servant. Round 3. Got to get it in 24.66 seconds, about 170 yards out. Here we go live in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh,
Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Ty staying back. Kobe, you've got a shot here.
Tough to watch. Appreciate it. You guys can bring the trophy over here.
You're by yourself. Just you in the hole. He lines up a 7-iron, smokes it. It's a blade. Sit down. Go in. Oh.
He's gonna be a little long, unfortunately.
And that is it.
Thank you.
Kobe, he absolutely pummeled you.
He really did.
Suffice to say, the rules are going to need a little changing here and there and a little refining. Because never put a steel stick, an aluminum stick in somebody's hand when they're being pummeled on the golf course. That in itself is frighteningly dangerous. Thanks to the folks at Xbox for allowing us to show that to you. Thanks to you as well. Don't forget, catch us on The Man in the Arena with our interviews, the sports reporters, The Man in the Arena, so many other issues, and so many other shows. Plus, also don't forget to watch us here on Trending in 30 when it comes up. Catch us on podcasts. Catch us on welcometothearena.com. Also, don't forget, catch us on Facebook. My page is at Berliner Speaks, at Ed Berliner, and also at Berliner Speaks on Twitter. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great evening. Until we meet again, rock on, true believers. See ya! Be sure to stay connected on social media with questions, comments, conundrums, you name it. It's at Berliner Speaks on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. A great place to talk business and learn a lot more about what we do is simply check us out on LinkedIn. Just go there and search out Ed Berliner. A reminder that every single episode of The Man in the Arena is uploaded to YouTube. Just go to welcometothearena.com, or if you're on YouTube, search out Ed Berliner Media. If you would prefer to listen to The Man in the Arena, every episode is available for download on all the major audio podcast platforms. The Man in the Arena is produced by Entourage Management, LLC, and Entourage Media.